Well, welcome back to the scientific method and the 7 steps that we're going to be learning here for our science fair project. Hopefully you have your sheet of paper that we talked about last time with these 7 steps written down already, spaces in between, because today in this video we're going to begin going through some of those steps. We're going to probably get through at least 3, maybe 4 of them in this video, and then we'll finish them all, the other ones in our next video. But for this video, hopefully you have your sheet out, some space in between each of them, because we're going to begin to go through them. Our first step of the scientific method is our problem or question. In this step, what we're going to do is we're going to think around the world of something that we would like to find out. What I usually like to say is you're going to develop a question or problem that can be solved through experimentation. Now, for example, most of you watch TV. You're going to be able to find a lot of different things that you could maybe solve through experimentation by watching things like commercials. When a commercial comes on and it says that this product is the best, you should buy this one, how do you know it's the best? Well, you could do an experimentation with that product and other products that are very similar, and you can come up with which one would be the best. So a lot of times, a lot of kids do things like that. If you've been at our science fair projects before or science fair days before, you've seen kids that have done projects on things like paper towels, which paper towel is the best, detergents, soaps, different things like that, to see which one cleans the best, or for paper towels, which one absorbs the most. So those are examples of different everyday questions that can be solved through experimentation. So we're going to come up with a question or a problem that we would like to solve. So that's your first big step. And we'll talk more about that in class time when you come in. The second step is to do some observation or research. Make observations and research your topic of interest. So once I've got that product or that thing that I want solved, or find out an answer to it, I want to solve it, then I'm going to do some background research and figure out more about that product or that thing that I would like to experiment on, and come up with some ideas as to maybe how my experiment can go, how I can make my experiment be successful, maybe find other things to compare it to. What other things out there in the world are there that I can compare to? Other products out there in the world that I can compare that one to see if it's the best. For example, when we go back to what I said earlier about like commercials and products on commercials when they say they're the best. So that's another way to do some observation research. Most people will be using the internet to do this, looking up things online. Another way is to go into your media center, talk to your media specialist and see if they have ideas or books in the media center that can help you out with this as well. But again, this will be something that we would like to see where you did your research and what you did your research on and where you found it. Hopefully you know who this person is. If you're not quite sure, if you do know who it is, write it down in your notebook. And we'll come back in and talk a little bit about him in class. But the next step, that third step that we've talked about, you should have it written down. Hopefully if you look in your notes, you'll be able to see it. But if not, hopefully you can remember the next step that you're going to be able to see. And that is one of our most important ones. It is your formulating a hypothesis. Now, a hypothesis, big word, kind of difficult to say sometimes, but your hypothesis, what I like to say, is it's a prediction to a possible answer to the problem or question that you have stated. Now, I changed this definition a little bit, and I call it an educated guess. Now, the difference between just making a guess and an educated guess is that an educated guess has some background to it. That's why you did your research. After you do your research, you should have some idea as to why or what your answer is going to be to your problem or question. You did some research to find it. Now, if I gave you an example of what is 4 plus 4, and if you said 2,382, that's not really an educated guess, because I know that if I take 4 and I add 4 to it, it's going to be, because my education that I've had, my knowledge that I have had, other teachers have told me, I've practiced it in other grades, I know that my answer should be less than 10 or around there somewhere. And we all know that 4 plus 4 is 8. So when you're formulating a hypothesis, you're using that background information to come up with a guess that you would like to, that you think will be happening in your experiment. So those are the first 3 steps of our scientific method. We're going to stop right there for this video. Hopefully, when you come back into class the next day, you'll have some idea of what these steps are and how you might apply them to your science fair project. We will talk more about these in class, so when you come in, make sure you have your notebook and you're ready to discuss them.